Hi, my name is Jonathan Willis, and I am a manager within the Finance Transformation Department at Embark. And today we're going to talk about Alteryx Server. When we've talked about some of the things in the past, if you look at any of the other topics we have listed online, those are primarily dealing with Designer. So that's creating a workflow. But most people don't need to create workflows. What they need to do is they need to be able to run the workflows once they've been created. So do I need to go out and buy a ton of Alteryx Designer licenses that can add up over time? No, there's another program that you can use, which is called Alteryx Server. So what Alteryx Server primarily does is it's a storage place for all of your workflows. Once you create them in Designer, you can put them in to Server, and then from Server, you can kind of manage those workflows from there. One of the advantages of that is that you can go through and schedule workflows. So say you have a workflow, you need to run it every night, and you need to have the results of that workflow ready for work in the morning. Well, you can do that through Alteryx Server. You can go in, you can set it to run daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it is that you need it to do at a specific time, and it'll run at that time. Another advantage to using it is the ability to version workflows. So sometimes you'll create a workflow and then you need to update that workflow, but you want to keep the old one because you know the old one works, but you have new things that you need to incorporate into a new workflow. So from there, what you can do is you can go into Server and you can say, this is the approved workflow that we want to use, but we have some additional versions that we've loaded in here. From there, you can download those old versions or the new versions, and then you can also go through and run those specific versions of that workflow. So you don't have to run necessarily the approved one, but you can run some of the other ones, but you can tell people this is the approved workflow, this is the one that we need to make sure runs every time. And again, if you're using that schedule function, it'll run the one that's been actually gone through and approved from there. The last thing is we kind of talked about how there's a central place for all the workflows to go. Sometimes it gets a little bit tricky with Alteryx where you're loading them into, say, like a Google Drive, or you're loading them into OneDrive or something, whatever cloud platform is of your preference. If you go through and you do that, things can get really messy really quick. They're not always put inside folders. Some person's the owner of this one. Other people can have edit access to. It becomes very convoluted when you go through that route. On Alteryx Server, you can create security restrictions to make sure that only certain people can have access to write new workflows in certain areas, to upload workflows in the first, and you can delimit that by, say, like folders. They call them collections in Server, but you can go through and you can create specific security restrictions around each of those collections, so that way you're making sure that the right people are in the right place at the right time, and you're making sure you're only buying licenses, Designer licenses, for those that need it, and you're buying just one Server license that can scale up or down. You have plenty of options to work from there in terms of what it is that you need Server to be able to do. But you have the ability to make sure that the right people have access to be able to run workflows, and you only have to buy Designer licenses for the people who are actually designing those workflows. So in summary, Alteryx Server is a great product if you are sitting in a situation where you have a bunch of people who need to run workflows, or you need workflows to be run at a particular point in time, or if you just need a central repository for all your workflows. Alteryx Server is a great tool for you to be able to do that instead of just going out and buying a ton of Designer licenses in order to be able to make that work. If you have any more questions about any of this stuff, or if you'd like to work with us in the future, you can visit us at embarkwithus.com and see some more of our content there. Thank you very much.